Hey. Hey guys, what's up? How you guys doing? Oh man, I am exhausted. But we are here tonight, Friday, April 22nd for Cartoon Fridays number 45, and I could not be happier for that. Pull up the chat quick.
Hey.
Oh, there I am.
Hey guys, what's up?
I forgot
You
to
guys
mute
doing?
myself on the I forgot to mute myself on the preview that I was watching. Okay, so there we go. What's up guys? How you guys doing? It's been another rough week. I mean, Prince died yesterday. The wrestler China died. Nobody seemed to, it's kind of depressing. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like the Prince thing is a tragedy. Like I liked some of Prince's music. I listened to actually quite a bit of his music last night. And my mom actually saw Prince when she was a teenager. But nonetheless, it's kind of sad because like someone huge like Prince dies, but it shadows over everybody else that dies in like the wake of his death. Like, it didn't really get put out there till yesterday, but Guy Hamilton, he directed four of the James Bond movies from the 1960s and 70s. Like he directed two of the Sean Connery films and two of the two of the Roger Moore films. Like Goldfinger, which is one of the most popular James Bond movies, and Live and Let Die, uh, and a few other ones. So he made some of the best James Bond movies and some of the most they're really classic in movie history, right? And his death got put out there like yesterday, but not really that many people heard about it because it was overshadowed by the death of Prince. So I guess that's kind of sad, but nonetheless, uh, despite all of the death that's been happening with celebrities, the week hasn't been that bad. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. So, well, I'm waiting for your response on that. Let's get into our first set of news here. So, uh, I don't know if you guys can recognize this guy. His name is Frank Welker, and he is a uh, very well known voice actor. He is the voice of characters like there's certain characters that he voices that I was like, wait, what? Frank Welker voices that? But at the same time, I was like, well, I'm not really surprised because he has such range and diversity in his voice, and he's all over the board. Some of the characters you might know him as are he did Scooby Doo, I think. He did Baby Kermit and Skitter on Muppet Babies. Um, he was the studio boss, Mr. Plots, on Animaniacs. Um, he was Dynomutt, Curious George, Nibbler, and Futurama. Oh no. He was the voice of Freddy in Scooby Doo. Um, so he has done Scooby though. He's been voicing Scooby for over a decade. And yeah, he's done so many voices. He was in Aladdin. He was the Ghost Slimer in the real Ghostbusters cartoon. Excuse me. He's been in Transformers. Yeah. Anyways, he has a really long list of voices that he's done, and um, you've there's no like if you've seen a cartoon, it most likely has one of Frank Welker's many voices in there. I mean, he's even been doing Garfield as well. Like, it's just this guy has so much voices. It's almost like Mel Blanc, who was the guy who voiced like every single Looney Tune. Um, but anyways, he's going to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award at the 43rd Annual Daytime Creative Arts Emmy Awards. So that's a pretty prestigious and pretty big honor. Um, so he'll be honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award. It'll be Friday, actually a week from now. Um, and Bob Morrow, president of the I think that's the National Association of uh, of animation or something like that. I don't know, but he's the president of that association, and he said every child in America has grown up listening to Frank Welker bring the adventures of Freddie Jones and Scooby Doo to life. Frank is an audible magician. He has made an incredible mark on the hearts and minds of us with the ability to bring these and so many other characters into our lives and make them real. It is with great pleasure that the National Academy bestows this prestigious Emmy Award for lifetime achievement to him for his great body of work. Um, and then another guy named David Michaels says, I've been a fan of Frank Welker's work my entire life. He's a unique person creating very unique characters such as Curious George, Wonder Dog, Shmoo, Megatron, and his body of work over the last 40 years is remarkable. So yeah, I'm glad he's being honored. He's a really 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 significant voice actor. Nothing happened to him. He's still alive. um, he's all good. But he's being honored there. Nothing happened to him. He's still alive. But yeah, I mean, most likely, many of our parents grew up listening to Frank Welker. We grew up listening to Frank Welker, and kids today, and most likely kids in the near future, will grow up or will still grow up listening to Frank Welker. I mean, I think he's in his early 70s, and I don't think he's planning on quitting anytime soon. So, congrats, Frank Welker. Next up, I guess this is slightly outdated, but I forgot to talk about it on my last one. Toonami announced that Hunter x Hunter is getting an English dub, and it'll premiere on Toonami. I'm pretty sure it already did last week. Or I no, never mind. I don't think it's been released yet. I haven't really paid attention to Toonami recently. Um, and there's actually 148 episodes of Hunter x Hunter, so I don't know if they're going to dub every single episode or not. But Viz Media has already had the license to distribute Hunter x Hunter since October 2015. So it'll be on Toonami sometime soon. I'm not particularly sure if it already did premiere or didn't. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks pretty cool though. So yeah. Next up, I thought this was pretty cool as well. There's a company called Cryptozoic, and they launched this card game called Cartoon Network Crossover Crisis Deck Building Game. And it looks like a combination of Cartoon Network characters, new and old. I'm not particularly sure what it's about, but it said in the description that people who play the game can play as heroes from shows including Adventure Time, The Amazing World of Gumball, Clarence, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo, Regular Show, Samurai Jack, and Steve Universe. And there's also a promotional DD character card from Dexter's Laboratory in there as well, as a promotion. So it seems pretty cool. I mean, like I said, I'm not particularly sure what it's about, but it seems like a pretty interesting concept. I might pick it up. I don't know if they're gonna have it in stores or not, or if it's gonna be like an online thing. I also don't know if it has anything to do with the Cartoon Network crossover. They had like a certain comic series with, I think it was IDW Publishing, and it was basically kind of like it was called like Super Action Hero Crisis or something like that. And it was kind of like a big crossover comic book series between all the Cartoon Network heroes and all the Cartoon Network villains. So it seemed pretty interesting. Um, let's see what else. Sorry if I don't sound all myself, guys. I'm just really, 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 really tired. Really, really sleep deprived. So next up, it was announced that Warner Bros. Is working on tons of Hanna-Barbera movies, and not just any ordinary Hanna-Barbera movies that are going, straight to DVD or whatever. These are going to be, full-on theater movies. And apparently they're planning on making a cinematic universe with some of their stuff, and I'm not sure if it's been 100% confirmed or not, but it's most likely that these are going to be CGI movies, which is a big disappointment because I know that, you know, Hanna and Barbera themselves died in the early 2000s. I think one of them died in like 2001, and then one of them died in like 2006. But they were still alive to witness some of CGI, and they definitely didn't really work around with it that much. Um, because that's not what they did. They did traditional cell animation for the most part. And that was their style. Like you could tell, like for the most part, you could tell uh, that it was a Hanna-Barbera cartoon just based off of its art style, and if it wasn't, it was most likely inspired by a Hanna-Barbera, like by their art style. Um, and that was legendary, but WB seems not to really care at all and wants to just take the characters and that kind of stuff and then morph them into their own vision. But if they're gonna use a bunch of other Hanna Barbera characters other than the typical Scooby Doo or whatever, they should definitely try to include some of the consistency that we saw between a lot of the Hanna Barbera cartoons, such as certain sound effects, certain animation techniques that were prevalent throughout all of the Hanna Barbera cartoons because there were a lot of similarities between them. So the new title of the new Scooby Doo movie is called Scoob. That's capital S period, capital C period, capital O period, capital O period, capital B period. Scoob. So I'm not sure if that's supposed to be an abbreviation for something or if it's just kind of supposed to sound cool because I don't know, movie titles that sound cool people will go watch. um, but WB said that this movie will be their first shot at unlocking the whole Hanna Barbera universe. Um, so I don't know what else they're gonna do if they're gonna do Flintstones, Jetsons, wacky races. Um, I don't know, stuff like that. I'm not sure if they're what they're going to do next. It's very, 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 very early in production. But seriously, what's up as well with all the the certain franchises trying to make cinematic universes? That's like the new popular thing. Like Marvel's been doing it, but now DC's making one. Now Hanna Barbera's making one. Now Hasbro's making one. It's just kind of weird. It's like it's becoming a big trend. Like nostalgia's become a real big thing recently, right? With reboots and stuff from the '90s and all that kind of becoming popular again. And you know when there wasn't really that much of it, it was kind of it was kind of rare, unexpected, and that just made the impact of it that much more exciting and that much more powerful. Um, but now that we see all this stuff all the time, it's not really a surprise to see a certain show from the '90s getting a reboot if you just see it on the news or whatever. Just, that's not really that much of a surprise. I kind of saw it coming because just so many shows and stuff are being rebooted now. But it's the same thing for cinematic universes now. It's just it was cool when Marvel was doing their own thing and I mean, there's probably been cinematic universes in the past, but I'm just saying, pretty much the people that I've seen, do it on a major scale are Marvel. But now everybody else is doing it, so it's not going to be as special. What do you guys think? No, no, no. Traditional animation is not too expensive. I mean, Ed, Edd and Eddy managed to do it throughout a 10-year span. And they were just doing TV animation. Movies get significantly higher budget compared to uh, to TV shows, and they were able to do it just fine and make it look really visually appealing. There was a bit of simplicity to it, but that kind of added to the artistic appeal of it. You know, and all of these shows were on television budgets, making animations with cell. I don't see why it would be more expensive now. I mean, The thing is, cell animation isn't more expensive. It's just that digital animation is cheaper. If that makes any sense. Um, cell animation isn't. I don't see why it would be any more expensive, but it's just the thing is, certain programs like Flash and all the CGI stuff is so much easier to animate and so much easier to do that you can produce quality results for doing half the amount of work and spending half as much money on it. Um, so I mean, yeah, I mean, with a an animated movie having tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in its budget, I'd kind of assume that's more than enough to be able to pull off traditional cell animation, but they wouldn't do that either because everything's got to be fresh and hip, right? They can't try something new, or I mean, it's not really trying something new because it's already that's what they used to do all the time. But I mean, it's the standard now to do digital stuff, and it'd be cool to see them be a little unique and pay a little homage to where all these characters came from, right? Hanna-Barbera didn't. Okay. The question was, didn't Hanna-Barbera make Tom and Jerry? Um, it's kind of a weird situation because to my knowledge, yes, Hanna and Barbera. I'm pretty sure their names are William Hanna and Joseph Barbera, but I keep saying Hanna-Barbera. I'm pretty sure those two men were the creators of the Tom and Jerry characters. However, I'm pretty sure that it was an MGM cartoon, and they created them. What? So I'm pretty sure they're like first major inventions were Tom and Jerry, right? And after Tom and Jerry was a hit, I'm pretty sure they left MGM and then they made their own company, Hanna Barbera, which is where they invented Scooby Doo and everybody else. But I mean, technically speaking, yes, they made Tom and Jerry. However, it's an MGM cartoon, so. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some cartoons shouldn't get reboots. They're fine just the way they are. That's kind of how I felt about Powerpuff Girls. Like, I thought that there was, shows such as, uh, Coding Kids Next Door or Courage, where the creators are actually encouraging people to go out there and they want a continuation to the series because they think it would be nice. Uh, but there's certain shows like the Powerpuff Girls where nobody really asked for it. The show already had over 5 seasons. It had a movie in theaters. It had several other movies and specials, that kind of stuff. Its entire series was released on DVD. In 2009, there was a finale to tie up the series, like a complete like a finale to totally wrap everything up and tie all loose ends basically. Um, so I thought the series was going to be done from there, but apparently not. The only reason Cartoon Network started back up is because it was Cartoon Network's best-selling merchandise show, and the show had a pretty wide audience. So of course, Cartoon Network could care less about whether they feel a show in terms of its story and character development if it could be revived or not. They're just like, what, this show made a lot of money, let's start it back up so we can make even more money. But there's certain shows like Codename Kids Next Door and Courage where Courage only had 4 seasons. I mean, I guess that's not that much, but and then Codename Kids Next Door where the series was left off on kind of ambiguously, um and kind of a cliffhanger where Nigel Uno goes off to the Galactic Kids Next Door, and what's next? Tom Warburton, the creator of Codename Kids Next Door, wants to answer those questions. He wants to tell us what happens to Nigel Uno, and that could make effective for a really good spin-off of the Codename Kids Next Door. However, Cartoon Network, are a bunch of dumbasses. Let's see. Yeah. Someone said, yeah, they use memes as jokes. That shows that you ran out of ideas. I mean, yeah, basically. And our last news for today is about this book that Rebecca Sugar, the creator of Steve Universe, is authoring for I believe Penguin as the publisher of this one. And it's about the origins of of Ruby and Sapphire, who are obviously, you know, the relationship that makes up Garnet. Um, and um, yeah, it'll be sold from Penguin Books. Um, and you can pre-order it on Amazon as well. So I mean, if any of you are big fans of Steven Universe, this will be coming out most likely sometime not too far in the future. Oh, September 6th. So, what's that, like 5 months? Yeah, more like 4 months, 4 to 5 months. So that was all of our news. You guys ready to ask some questions? I'm in dead silence. Just there's like a 30-second delay or so from the stream to that you guys are watching to me and live, so you guys probably won't be hearing uh me asking you guys to ask some questions until as I'm talking right now. Did I watch Futurama? Um, did you watch Futurama today on Comedy Central? Um, did I? No, I did not. However, I do. I watched it. I think like Monday or maybe Tuesday and Wednesday. I love Futurama so much. Futurama, like I've been on a real Futurama kick recently, and it's a great show. I absolutely adore Futurama. I've been watching it a lot recently. Futurama's great. Um, Also, Monster, I have to apologize to you. You're right when you said the Powerpuff Girls would disappoint. I mean, you know, it was more of just a prediction. Because obviously it was a first impressions thing. I just there was so much evidence pointing against it. Like I was just like, it would have to be a miracle for this show not to be bad. Before the show came out, there was already so much wrong with it that I was just, what, the show is most likely going to be a disaster. Um, and you know what? I mean, you guys have to give props to me. If you guys have seen my first impressions video on the Powerpuff Girls, almost every single thing I predicted in that video ended up by turning out true. And that was just based off of observations and predictions based off of the first episode or so. I was just like, there's going to be a lot of memes, there's going to be a lot of feminism, there's going to be a lot of reliance on social media and that kind of stuff. It's way too fast paced. And just based off of the first episode, and you know what? I was just like, I really don't want this to happen. And it's only the first episode, so I hope that the problems don't continue on. But, here we are, what, 10, 15 episodes later, and it's just as bad, if not worse. So, um, yeah, I mean, I've still been kind of contemplating over because I know that I promised that I would do a review once like 10 or so episodes came out. But the thing is, basically every single thing that I said in my first impressions video ended up by coming true. So it'd kind of be redundant in the sense that I'd basically say everything that I said in my first impressions video that I wouldn't in the review. But yeah. Am I watching the NBA playoffs? I mean, I've been watching the Warriors and Rockets series, obviously. But I also have been watching the Trailblazers and Clippers series. Um, that's the yeah, but I've been watching like inside the NBA and that kind of stuff. So I've been seeing like highlights and scores from all the other series as well. Did you hear about the Killing Joke getting an R rating? Yes, I did. Plus, I heard that Kevin Conroy's back to voice Batman and Mark Hamill's gonna voice the Joker. It seems really cool. That's the type of movie that I'd like to see in a movie theater. It's kind of a shame that it's going to be direct to DVD, but I'm still nonetheless very excited to see it, and it's kind of cool that it'll be rated R. I'm pretty sure Bruce Timm, who had a major influence on Batman the Animated Series, is also working on The Killing Joke. So, did I ever watch Daria or Daria, however you say that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was like a spinoff of Beavis and Butthead. And I watched a few episodes of that on MTV like a really, really long time ago. But I mean, I wasn't particularly that big of a viewer of that show. So, how do you feel about the Powerpuff Girls reboot referencing memes? I mean, I don't know. People can have whatever opinion they want to. I mean, some people feel that memes shouldn't be in TV shows at all because it's flat out weird. Some people think that that shows should only reference memes if they can do it right or in an effective manner, or that that makes them funny or whatnot. Uh, and then there's some people who are like, go ahead, use as many memes as you want. Um, I mean, personally, I just kind of find them cringeworthy, or at least a majority of them. Like the where who was it? Like Bubbles pulls up her iPhone, and it's a picture of Mojo Jojo making a weird face, and it says like, "Can I has world dominance" or something like that. And they just try so hard to spoof memes, and it's not funny at all. It's just I feel like partially one of the problems might be is that one of the reasons why memes are so frowned upon in TV shows is the fact that a lot of TV shows don't get it right. You know, um, a lot of people who make like a lot of the guys that are working on this show are like like 40, 50-year-old dudes who didn't grow up with the internet, who aren't really that familiar with memes, and are like, maybe we should take a time machine back to 2008 and see what was relevant. Oh, these are, yeah, like they're using, and by the way, the memes that they are using are really stale and outdated, really really like 5-year old plus memes, like Doge. Like when that meme, I can't remember like the last time I saw a Doge meme because it's not popular anymore, you know. And I don't know if you guys have seen it. There was a really funny video. I'm pretty sure it was posted by a guy named Discord on YouTube, uh, and it showed a certain scene from an episode of the new reboot, and it showed the Powerpuff Girls twerking, which is that's actually a part of this. Like there's like dance music that comes out, and they start fucking twerking with a panda bear, right? And and Filthy Frank just walks on, and he's like, "It's time to stop." I just thought that was really funny. But yeah, like I said, one of the reasons why a lot of people probably frown upon a lot of TV shows using memes is because they don't do it right. I mean, if they did do it right, I don't know how I'd feel about it because obviously the Powerpuff Girls was a major show of my childhood, and I don't know. I just wish it was a lot more consistent with the original as well. It strays way off. Like obviously, I guess the concept is the same, but pretty much everything else they changed. Would you ever talk to those people at Cartoon Network about the Galactic Kids Next Door reboot for not making it happen? Yeah, if I ever, if I ever had a confrontation from some executive at Cartoon Network, would we have a conversation? I would be cussing and I would make him scared. Let's see what else. Do you think Kyrie Irving is the Cavs' X factor in the playoffs? I mean, he's been doing decent. He's been doing decent. I mean, I don't really particularly pay that much attention to the Cavs. I actually I forgot who they were playing in the series. Were they playing? I'm pretty sure they played 2 nights ago, like Wednesday night. I don't remember who they were playing, but I mean, personally, I'm not really that big of a Kyrie Irving fan. I was a fan of the Uncle Drew stuff. Like, I thought that those videos were funny, the Pepsi ones. But Kyrie Irving as a player, I'm obviously Warriors all the way, and the Cavs seem to be a pretty big rival of theirs. But do I think he's the X factor of their team? I don't know. He could definitely step it up. I don't think it's Kevin Love because Kevin Love has kind of been lackluster in my opinion. If there was a new movie for a Cartoon Network series besides Adventure Time, which show would you pick? Um, does this include like outdated shows that have been canceled for years and years and years, or shows that are no longer on, or like a modern show that's still airing new episodes? Let's see. See. Did you hear about Yu-Gi-Oh movie 2016? No, I mean I stopped paying attention to Yu-Gi-Oh like 10 years ago, so I mean I don't pay attention to Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. So. What's your opinion on Iron Man 2? I personally like the film. Yeah, I love the first two Iron Man movies. They're pretty cool. I actually haven't seen Iron Man 3. That's like one of the only major Marvel movies that I haven't seen. I mean, I've seen basically every single other Marvel Cinematic Universe movie except for Iron Man 3 and the second Thor movie, and that's only because I didn't like the first Thor movie. But Iron Man 3, I never saw that, but I'm pretty sure it was from a different director. I'm pretty sure Jean Favreau directed the first two movies, but some other guy directed the third one. And I heard from a lot of other people the third one wasn't as good. But back to your question, do I like Iron Man 2? Yeah, it was a good movie. I liked it. I haven't seen it in years though. I Rocket Metal. Did Rick and Morty ever use memes? I mean, they're I not that I can recall. I mean, they probably have, to be fair, but Rick and Morty is that good of a show to the point where they can create memes. You can tell a show is good when there's memes named after the show or like memes based on the show. Like like all there's so many different memes that have come as a result of Rick and Morty. So, when a show like is able to create its own memes that are wicked funny, you can tell that's a great series. But back to your question, I mean, they might have, I don't know. And even if they have used memes, obviously, I'm a big fan of Rick and Morty, and I can't remember, so they obviously don't play that big of a role in the series, and doesn't use it uh, to become one of the pinpoints of its series. Unlike something like the new Powerpuff Girls reboots, where they have a lot of memes to try to get the appeal of the younger generation, but they just horribly fail at it. Even the thing is, even like the kids watching the kids of today watching Powerpuff Girls, even if they do see those memes, they wouldn't know the memes because the memes are like over 5 years old. They're using really outdated memes. Did the old Cartoon Network team executive leave when Jim Samples left? I mean, after Jim Samples leave, they kind of had an overhaul, and they did have a big management change at Cartoon Network. So most likely, probably. Um, would you like an Ed, Edd n Eddy reboot rather than the Powerpuff Girls reboot? No. To be honest, no. Ed, Edd n Eddy had what, 5, technically 6 seasons, and the Big Picture movie or the Big Picture show. And it ran for 10 years. The series had a lot of good episodes. I don't think maybe a spinoff of like a certain character or something, but I think the series had a good run, and uh, I don't think I'd want to take that risk of bringing it back, and as much appeal as that would get, and as much people would watch that. I don't think I could ever I don't think that they could ever possibly recreate the genius that the original show had, and it has a high possibility of tarnishing the original legacy that the original show had. Because believe it or not, Teen Titans. Whenever anybody thinks about it now, they just think of Teen Titans Go and how bad it is. But I guess at the same time, they might think of the original Teen Titans as well and how good that is and how much they miss it. Did you like Batman Bad Blood? I don't know what that is. What's your favorite football team? To be honest, I'm not really that much of a football person. But I guess the New England Patriots. Do you consider the Powerpuff Girls reboot Cartoon Network's newest low? And do you think Christina Miller is not doing a thing to fix Cartoon Network? Um, I mean, the first part of that question, I mean, it's a low. Yeah, I mean, even before the show came out, it was a low because there was already just so much crap about it. There's already toys and stuff coming out for the series, and the show has barely been out. Normally you think of a show, they release it, take some time to develop an audience, and once it has that audience, then they start releasing merchandise and that kind of stuff. But obviously they're bringing back an older series, and they kind of assume that it already kind of does have an audience. But I mean, even its audience of older fans, I mean, I don't think a lot of them, or at least I won't go out there and buy toys and books and costumes and that kind of stuff because I mean, especially a lot of the like the dude fans, a lot of the guy fans of the original, um sorry, I lost my train of thought. A lot of the guy fans of the original aren't going to go buy Powerpuff Girls merchandise. They might watch the show, but I don't think a lot of them are going to buy the merchandise. Um, whereas some girls might. I mean, also, the new show is also a turnoff for a lot of the guys as well because all the feminism stuff. And there's like no action at all either. The action is bad. Like what the heck is up with action cartoons, Cartoon Network? There's literally little to no action cartoons. I don't think there's an actual like original full-time action cartoon. There's always got to be, it's always got to focus on humor and whatnot. And whenever there is, like a semi-action cartoon, the action isn't even that good. I don't know what's wrong. um, what are the worst cartoons you've ever seen? I mean, I don't know. That's gonna take some time. Just gotta look back at, you know, many decades of animation history. Uh, let's see. I mean, a lot of people don't like Mr. Pickles. That was pretty bad in a lot of people's opinion. Um, I mean, yeah, I thought that Mr. Pickles was pretty bad, but I didn't even really, I didn't watch it because I already knew it was bad. Like, you know, before the, or shortly after the show came out, I already saw so many people reviewing it online, saying how bad of a show it was, and I just didn't really want to give the show a chance because I mean, even just judging from the commercials and that kind of stuff, it didn't look that good at all. Um, Trying to think. I mean, there's certain like Canadian cartoons that I think are absolutely atrocious. Like Almost Naked Animals. Oh, that's such a bad cartoon. I hate Almost Naked Animals. Um, yeah, I mean those are two of them, I guess. How would you rank all 12 Marvel films? Well, let's see. I probably put the Thor movie as number 12, like the Thor movies. I personally I wasn't a fan of the Thor movies. Um, as number one, man, like, are you counting Civil War as one? Because like Civil War, I've heard so many good things about Civil War. So I mean, I guarantee you, like Jeremy Johns rated it an awesome tacular. So it's most likely gonna be a movie for the books. But personally, my favorite Marvel movies are the Captain America and the Iron Man ones. I mean, the Avengers are also pretty cool, but um, you know, um, I don't feel like those really focus on I feel like those kind of are made to go out to a more broad audience, and they're I don't know. I like the Captain America and Iron Man films the most, and then I probably put the Thor movies at the bottom. And then okay, so in terms of the franchises, I'd probably put Captain America on top, then the Avengers, then Iron Man, then Ant Man, then Thor. So I hope that answers your question. Do we even call the new Captain America movie a Captain America movie anymore? I mean, it's going to be mostly about Captain America. I mean, I guess you could kind of call it like a pseudo Avengers 3. Uh, or but uh, sorry, I lost my train of thought again. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess you could call it an Avengers 3, but yeah, I mean they are focusing on Captain America's side of the story. They're definitely focusing on him, and I mean I don't know, maybe something bad or something important will happen to Captain America. So I mean, yeah, we'll just have to wait and find out. Oh yeah, SpongeBob is the master of memes. Yeah, SpongeBob has created so many memes. Same with South Park. They all create so many wicked. Oh, even Futurama creates so many memes. Like, take my money. Good news, everyone. I love all the Futurama memes. I feel like the animation industry could benefit from its indie scene being more like gaming. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the quote unquote indie animators, they kind of come from CalArts and from Tumblr and online. There's definitely been an increase of certain networks noticing animators online, indie animators online, seeing their stuff, and they're like, you know what, you have some pretty cool stuff. Let's bring you onto our production crew, or let's have you make a show. So that's definitely been a lot more prevalent in the last couple of years with the rise in internet animation. And yeah, I mean, I guess it could benefit it. But at the same time, I feel like certain shows like Steve Universe and Adventure Time are kind of very similar to what you see on the internet. I mean, not in terms of their quality or anything like that, but kind of like their art style or the certain messages or the tone of the series. But um, you know, Tara must be ashamed. You think Nickelodeon should try to pick up the Galactic Kids Next Door? I mean, I don't know. I personally, I'd say no. I don't think that they should. I always think of Coding Kids Next Door as a Cartoon Network property. But I mean, just look at what Nickelodeon's done with their animation recently. Sanjay and Craig, Breadwinners, Pig, Goat, Banana, Cricket. I mean, Harvey Beaks has really been the only, pretty good thing that's come out of Nickelodeon animation in the past 5 years or so. So you know, it's I don't think that Nickelodeon should pick that up. Did you know that Ed and Eddie season one DVD ran out of print on Amazon? No, I didn't. That's pretty sad. I mean, if any of you don't have it, you better go pick it up because it's out of print and or at least I think it is. Um, and it's definitely one of the best Cartoon Network DVDs out there. The special features are great, and the episodes are great. So, if you haven't already, pick up the first two seasons of Ed, and Eddie. They might still be on Amazon, and they might also be on Cartoon Network Shop. But I'd say boycott. Like, don't shop on Cartoon Network Shop because the prices are ridiculous there. Like, um, I've always looked at Cartoon Network Shop and that kind of stuff, and I've thought, sometimes about buying something off of there, but their prices are just way too ridiculous, and you can buy it for way cheaper on Amazon or at the store or something. Yeah, Cartoon Network still owns all the rights to the candy. So yeah, I mean, so Nickelodeon wouldn't be able to pick up the series unless Cartoon Network sold the rights to it to Nickelodeon. Which I mean, I don't see why Cartoon Network wouldn't if Nickelodeon offered them a lot of money because it's not like they don't air the series or they don't use it in really anything at all, which is kind of a waste and kind of a bad decision on Cartoon Network's part. But if Tom Warburton had the rights to the series, then he would definitely use them. You know, what kind of qualities can make a new cartoon good for comedy or action? I mean, I'm not sure if I could, you know, particularly point out what's good and what isn't good. I think it kind of varies because you see some things that are good and bad in one series, and then they might be switched in the other series. Like I don't know. That's probably a really bad analogy, but um, you know, uh, it just depends on how unique they are, and I think uniqueness is a big part of that. Shows should be unique. The action should be good. I mean that's pretty vague, but the comedy shouldn't be toilet humor. Well, at least not toilet humor isn't bad if you use it in the right way. It shouldn't be heavily reliant on, and it shouldn't be exclusively using toilet humor or a really bad, nonsensical toilet humor that's just there to be toilet humor or gross out humor. Um, I don't think reboots of things like Ed, and Eddy would work. Rather, learning from it and making new things with the knowledge of what made the original shows good and building off of it. That's a very good point. Um, a lot of the good series that you see today were inspired from other good things in the past. So, you know, that's a pretty good example. How would you rank all seven Star Wars films? Uh, don't hit on me for my opinions because I actually do enjoy the prequels. I I do like the prequels, despite it's kind of the cool thing to hate. It's like it's the cool thing to hate Nickelback. It's the cool thing to hate the Star Wars prequels, but I don't think that they're that bad. It's just the popular opinion, I guess. But my ranking of them would probably be the Empire. This is from best to worst, by the way. Not saying that it's a bad Star Wars movie, but my personal favorites from best to worst are The Empire Strikes Back, um, Return of the Jedi, uh, A New Hope, Revenge of the Sith. No, no, no. Hold on. Wait. The Empire Strikes Back, uh, Return of the Jedi. This is gonna be really controversial. Oh, wait, wait, wait. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of what I should say. Okay, The Empire Strikes Back. That's without a doubt number one. Uh, then I'll put Return of the Jedi. Then I'll put Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Then I'll put A New Hope. Then I'll put Episode 3. Then Episode 2, and then Episode 1. So, have you ever seen an animated movie that you haven't seen in years? Um, I mean, I'm pretty sure last week Space Jam was on, and I don't know if you consider that an animated movie. I guess it's kind of an animated movie. Which I hadn't seen Space Jam in a long time. I mean, not that I can think of really. I mean, Cartoon Network really doesn't air that many movies anymore, and when they do, they're really bad. Or they're either really bad or it's just the same ones all the time. You think Cartoon Network should bring back Craig McCracken so we can work on the Powerpuff Girls reboot? Um, well, you see, he was asked to work on the reboot, right? But he couldn't because he was under contract with Disney. But now that his show at Disney Wander Over Yonder has been canceled, I kind of assumed that he's kind of been let go from Disney. Uh, but I mean, I don't. I think he's working on a new show idea right now, and I don't think he's going to be coming back to Cartoon Network. But I don't. I mean, I don't think he should because I don't even think that this reboot should exist in the first place. And even if he did come to work on it, I don't think he would have. I don't think I mean, don't get me wrong. He would. He doesn't like the new reboot. I don't think. He points out a lot of its flaws, and when people ask him questions about it on Twitter, he agrees with them. It's just this is bad. This isn't what I wanted the Powerpuff Girls to be. Or at least that's what I think he thinks. But um, you know, but I don't think bringing him in there would make much of a difference because the show is already established. They already have their certain ideas in mind, and he'd only be one out of a large crew, despite him being the creator of the show. And I think Cartoon Network actually likes the way in which this show is going, which is kind of a sad thing. But yeah, did you hear Prince died? Yeah, it's sad. I listened to some of his music last night. The Cavs are playing the Detroit Pistons. That's right. Yeah, Cavs are gonna win. Despite I like some of the people on the Cavs. Like I like Andre Drummond. He's pretty cool. What do you think of the Loud House? Well, I know that there's been like a preview episode or whatever, or a bunch of previews released online. I don't even know if it's premiered on TV yet. But the concept seems pretty interesting, and I like the art style. I haven't seen the actual show yet though, so I mean, yeah, I don't really have that much of an opinion on it, but I like its art style and I like its concept. Um, what was it? It kind of reminds me of Jimmy Two Shoes, the art style does, but yeah. Oh, I just realized that went to black. Let's fix that. There you go. What do you think of 2016 ruining your childhood? Oh God. Um. Um. Do you think television animation should have a bigger budget and more time to make an episode? I mean, possibly, but the only downside of that is that if there was more time to make episodes, that means that there would be less new episodes. But I don't know. That's kind of a good question. Um, yeah, there's definitely a difference between a show ending and a show getting canceled. Like, pretty sure Courage got canceled and Coding Kids Next Door got canceled along with all those other shows when like that 2007 to 2008 horrid period where Cartoon Network basically just had like a face transplant. I mean, I think that's a pretty sound analogy because if you think about it, from 2007 to like 2009, they got rid of all of their previous shows. Like think about how many shows were canceled: Camp Lazlo, uh, Billy and Mandy, Ed and Eddie, or well, Ed and Eddie wasn't canceled; it ended. But Camp Lazlo, Billy and Mandy, uh, Kids Next Door. Um, there was a bunch of other ones as well, but that I can't think of because I'm ridiculously tired and I can't think of anything. But yeah, all those shows ended and then they brought in all these new shows and they basically had a face transplant as well, because they started live action stuff as well. I don't know, but yeah, shows that were canceled, um, yeah, those possibly deserve a second chance. Whereas like a show that ends like at Netty after 10 years, that's a good way to do things. Is there a reason why you don't like Henry Danger? Um, Probably. I mean, its humor doesn't really appeal to me. Um, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of Nickelodeon's new sitcoms. I don't think it's funny, and I don't think a lot of the actors are that good. Like that one, like that chubby kid with the afro. I don't think he's funny, and I don't know. Like I tried watching like the first episode and I couldn't get through it all because I didn't like it at all. I mean, I'm kind of selective about my Dan Schneider sitcoms, you know. Like the only ones that I really enjoyed were Drake and Josh, Zoe 101, Victorious, and I guess I liked some of iCarly and I also didn't like some of iCarly as well. I'm probably forgetting something. I don't know if you consider all that a Dan Schneider, Keenan and Kel. But I don't like Henry Danger. I don't like Game Shakers. Um, I didn't like Sam and Cat. You like Ant Man? Yes, I do. You like The Land Before Time? I mean, I haven't seen the recent ones, but I mean, I used to like the older movies. Yeah. Do I love The Kids Next Door? Yes, I do love The Kids Next Door. Do I like Tiny Toons Adventures? Yes, I like Tiny Toons Adventures. um, what happened to Cartoon Forecast? First off, I want to get a drink quick. Okay. So, Cartoon Forecast. The website which I was using for that, it was called locatetv.com, I think. They actually closed down their site sometime this month. and the only other way I'd be able to do that would be either searching through my cable box TV guide, or going to like tvguide.com or whatever, which is a really bad site to use for that kind of stuff. And the other website, Locate TV, which I was using, made it really easy. So, I guess it's not really that much of a possibility anymore. As well as just the fact that, you know, um, less and less stuff started to happen. I mean, I don't know how many of you actually, just come over to my channel to talk about older cartoons and that kind of stuff, or if any of you actually still watch a bunch of cartoons. Because personally, I guess you could kind of say that Cartoon Forecast kind of stopped when I kind of stopped watching a lot of animation on TV. Even while I was doing it, I still wasn't really watching that much of it. Like the only animation I really watch on TV now is Futurama and South Park, and Rick and Morty. But other than that, I don't watch any animation on TV at all, really. Um, because I don't really have a taste for much anymore. It's just changed so much. It's really repetitive as well. What's the creator of Ed and Eddie been doing? I don't think he's been doing anything. Like I think he was like developing something towards the end of Ed and Eddie's run, but he hasn't made anything since Ed and Eddie really. Do you consider Diary of a Wimpy Kid cartoony? The books or the movies? Do you think cartoons these days are too kid themed slash oriented? I don't know. That's a tough one because I mean, a lot of people have also been saying like, cartoons are coming nowadays with a lot more, a lot more mature themes and a lot more mature a lot more mature content. Yet at the same time, I mean, I guess what I like about a lot of older cartoons is that they, I mean, I guess you could say that they were made for kids, right? But the creators had a lot more creative freedom, and even listen to Craig McCracken saying, he said this in an interview. He said, "We didn't make the Powerpuff Girls for kids. We made the show for ourselves," which is a really, really cool thing to hear from a creator of a show like that, because you can tell they were adults and they enjoyed the show. Adults enjoyed the show. Kids enjoyed the show. Boys enjoyed the show. Girls enjoyed the show. It was just a show for everybody. Whereas you can obviously tell there is no doubt you have to be really, really idiotic to not be able to recognize that this new reboot is targeting itself so hard to the kids of today. You know? Um but do I think that a lot of cartoons today are too kid themed slash oriented? I mean, if you mean like shows like Clarence or whatever where they're about a kid, um I mean maybe. What I mean, other than regular show, is there a show on Cartoon Network where its protagonist is an adult? I mean, I guess you could say Uncle Grandpa as well, but does Uncle Grandpa act like an adult? like real. And by the way, the show is like it's about Uncle Grandpa talking to kids, you know. Um, but it's I don't know. There was definitely a lot more variation in terms of character archetypes and and protagonists and the older Cartoon Network stuff. There were animals, there were humans, there were adults, there were kids. Now it just kind of seems to be a bunch of kids or teenagers. Um, what do you think about the current Sid Nicktoons network? I don't like it. A lot of sports, no more original or no more classic Nick cartoons. Really, don't like it. Yeah, this Cartoon Network generation has been really bad, especially scheduling for the most networks. Yeah, I mean, also another thing, to add on to why I stopped doing Cartoon Forecast is it's not like there's anything really that major that new. If it was something really major, I'd kind of report it as a part of my news. But like the schedules are basically the same every week, and there's not really that much variation anymore. Where the old schedules they were constantly changing things up. It was fresh. There was a lot of variation, but it's the same thing every week, and there's always blocks and redundancy and repetitiveness. So it's kind of useless to do it when it's the same all the time. Um, who are your top 10 NBA point guards? I mean, in terms of, I'll just do it in terms of like how good I think they are. Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook, CP3, um, Damian Lillard, um, trying to think. um, let's see. Gosh, can't think. is uh is Isaiah Thomas on the Celtics point guard? Because he's really good. I'd put him in there. I guess that's like my top five or whatever. What book series would you like to see as a TV show? For me, it's Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Um, I don't know. To be entirely honest, I never liked reading books as a kid. I hate reading. Reading is one of my least favorite activities in the world. I'm just a very visual person, a very auditory person. I like watching, seeing things, and hearing things. I don't like, reading a bunch of words on a piece of paper. That's just kind of lame, and I don't know. I don't like doing that. At least it is in my opinion. I mean, sorry if I offended some of you that read out there, but that's just I don't like doing it. But the funny thing is too, like um, when I was like in elementary school in like sixth grade or whatever, all my friends and stuff would get like the big like Harry Potter books or like the big novels with 400 pages covered in words, right? But I would still get some of the time I get a lot of like comic books or graphic novels or sometimes even like picture books because I just liked looking at the artwork and that kind of stuff. And because I used to draw and I used to want to be a cartoonist. All those cartoons that I watched during my childhood inspired me to draw all the time and to draw characters and do all that other stuff. And I wanted to be an animator, but kind of animation kind of decreased in quality, and I kind of sought that as a unrealistic thing as well because I don't think I was also I kind of came to that harsh reality. I was just like I don't think I'm good enough at drawing, so I don't think I'd make it in the world of animation, which is why I turned to film. Do wish YouTube can fix their copyright system? Yes. Hashtag where's the fair use YouTube. Even though I mean I've been luckily great, I've luckily been good in terms of that stuff, and I haven't had any major copyright problems. Whereas I know a lot of other people that do the same kind of stuff have that I do. They've had a lot of copyright problems. So yeah, YouTube, where's the fair use? um, what's your opinion on Chowder? I like Chowder. That was a good series. Have you seen 12 ounce mouse? I haven't seen the show itself, but I've seen a couple reviews on it, and according to the reviews, it wasn't a good series. But I haven't seen it. Can you go and create a cartoon, or is it not your thing? I mean, if you guys want, I could possibly take a shot at animating, but it's very tedious. It's very time consuming. It gets very technical. Gets occasionally very difficult. Um, very time consuming. And not all people have the patience and or time to work on such a time consuming and big project like that. Some people spend the entire day just working on a couple frames of animation. But you know, I mean, I might try it eventually. I don't know. Do you miss the Eds? Yes, I do miss the Eds. And you know what would make me miss them less? If Cartoon Network actually aired Ed and Eddy. Let's see. What would your reaction be if you saw a sitcom on Nickelodeon about a little 9-year-old girl who was always about a little 9-year-old girl who's always screaming and obsessed with social media created by Dan Schneider? I would have a negative reaction to that, and I'd say, "What the heck happened to you, Dan Schneider?" Let's see. Let's see. Do you think Fox should give the Fantastic Four film rights back to Marvel? I mean, obviously, I don't think they're gonna do anything with it because the Fantastic Four movie had such a negative reaction that I doubt that they're gonna make a sequel to it. But I don't think I don't know. They already made those ones in the mid 2000s, like the original Fantastic Four and then the Fantastic Four, the Silver Surfer one. But I don't know. Do I like the Houston Texans? Uh, I mean, I don't even know what sport that is. So, I mean, what's your opinion on Sam and Cat? I don't like it. I don't like Sam and Cat. However, I did like Victorious, and I mean, I was kind of meh on iCarly. Some of the episodes were good, and I didn't like a lot some of the episodes as well. So, any more questions, guys? Why do you think kids channels don't show reruns of their popular shows? Do they not care about their fans anymore? Probably. um, you know, that's something. I mean, well, I mean, the thing, I sorry if I keep saying but I just say it when I can't think of what I'm trying to say. But anyways, back to your question. Like 10 years ago or so, it's kind of where it kind of slowed down and stopped, where kids channels stopped doing it. You'd see a bunch of Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon airing older shows of theirs that had been canceled several years prior, but they would still air reruns of them. But that kind of slowed down and stopped, and now kids networks do not look in the past; they just look in the present. They are very black and white, very blindsided, and they a lot of the time they almost pretend that the past didn't happen. I mean, I don't think Nickelodeon sometimes embraces their past, and they do appreciate their past and do acknowledge it. But Cartoon Network doesn't acknowledge their past and they don't embrace it at all. It almost seems as if they're pretending it doesn't like it never happened, because they don't acknowledge it at all. Like, there's little to nothing about it. Um, and you know, I back to your question, why do you think that they don't care anymore? I don't know. I feel like that actually, be kind of a good thing, because it's good quality, good, good show. A lot of them are. I mean, some of them aren't, obviously, but some of they have, Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network have some really good shows in their library that can easily be replayed today. And obviously, it doesn't cost any money to produce episodes or anything like that, because the episodes are already there and they're in their library and they already have the rights to everything. So it's not like they have to invest in it and put money into it. And the only thing that they'll be getting back is money, because they already own everything. But I don't know. That's a good question. Star Wars versus Star Trek, Marvel versus DC. What's your picks? Star Wars over Star Trek. Um, Marvel over DC. I'd say Marvel over DC in terms of movies, but in terms of cartoons, DC over Marvel. Well, at least it used to be that. I mean, I don't know what it is now, because DC makes Teen Titans Go, and that's like one of the only action cartoons that they make now. You think Pokemon should be a live action movie? I don't know, probably not. Do I like He-Man? I mean, I never really watched the original He-Man Guardians of the Universe or whatever, but I did watch the Hey Yeah 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 video. What's your least favorite current Nickelodeon sitcom? Probably Game Shakers or Thundermans or Nicky, Ricky, Dicky, and Don. I don't know. Um, let's see. What do you think about Christina Miller's job so far? She hasn't really done anything, and that's not a good thing. Like, it's gotten to the point where really, since 2014, has Cartoon Network really changed that much? Like, I just, I look at it, and really there hasn't been any major things. That's why it was kind of difficult to make that recap of Cartoon Network 2014. And it'll also be difficult to make, Cartoon Network recap of 2015 and Cartoon Network recap of 2016, because in those videos I highlight major things that happened in that year. But there's not really anything major going on. There's no big news. Cartoon Network isn't making any news. I had a pretty good discussion with Future Gohan Sensei J2 about this. It's been difficult to make videos on that kind of stuff, because there just hasn't been any changes. And it's almost gotten to the point where no change is almost as bad as bad change. And that says a lot. Um, do you think that executives in Cartoon Network are out of touch with their audience? I mean, kind of. Yeah. Have you seen their Facebook page? Can you make a video of how you edit your videos and how you make thumbnails? I already did. Look up on my channel the making of a Monsters Review video. That's a behind the scenes video on how I make my videos. Um, I think that's where I'm gonna wrap it up for today. Thank you guys for coming out to Cartoon Fridays number 45. If I didn't answer any of your, or if you have any more questions, or if I didn't answer one of your questions, put it in the comments below once this is published, this video. And I'll try to work on some new videos. I mean, sorry, obviously you guys haven't seen much videos from my channel. I've just been really, really busy and really, really tired and exhausted. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Monsters Review. If you enjoyed it, leave a like below. And yeah, that's been it. Have a good Friday night. Have a good weekend. Peace.